Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Life with Karen J. I'm Jay. Guys, today Karen's not here, so I'm I'm just linking up with you guys to share a few ideas that I have. So I have a business idea that I think would be great for somebody. So essentially I am always willing to invest in businesses, small startup business, right? As an entrepreneur, I believe in business. So I'm gonna share this business idea with you, and if it is that somebody wants to invest in it, I'm willing to be a silent partner with somebody on it, right? As a Jamaican, if you're living in Jamaica and you like this business idea and you would want to invest in it, right? I am willing to be a silent partner, right? And basically, I will give you all the equipment you need, all right? So before we get into that, you know our style already on our channel. Carrie's not here. She normally does the, give you the scripture of the day. So it's my duty to give you the scripture of the day. Guys, don't ever leave God out of anything that you're doing, right? Don't leave God out of it. I'm a strong believer in God. I'm a strong believer that once you put God first, whatever you're doing will prosper, and I'm an example of it, right? I'll give you a little backstory on that. I have been in a situation where I have no money, nothing is going great, and I just pray to God and say, hey, you bring me this far. I know you're not going to leave me, so I'm gonna just trust in you and continue to put in the work, right? And my business started to boom back again, and things going great. So I'm gonna say to you, put God first in anything that you're doing. Put in the work. I'm not saying that God will give you anything without you doing anything, right? According to scriptures, He will bless the works of your hand. So put in the work, trust in God while you're putting in the work, and just be patient. All right. So the scripture of today for me, right, is James 4 verse 8, right, and it says, "Draw near to God, and God will draw near to you." That's the scripture of the day. Draw near to God, and God will draw near to you. Right. As I said before, I've been in a situation where I had nothing. I just had to go by faith, right? Business, working on the business, and the business just not pulling through. And once I say, hey, God, you have not left me so far. You have helped me to push through, and so far you have not left me, and I know you're not going to leave me now. So I want you to help me at this point. And sure enough, he did. And I told myself, and I told him that everywhere I go, I will always make sure that people know that my success so far is because of God, right? I have my business running. I have a few things that I do. I'm not gonna necessarily disclose all of them, right? So trust me, draw near to God, and God will draw near to you. And trust me, you'll see a difference in your life. All right. Alright guys, so I've had this business idea for some while now. I've actually tested it. It works, right? I have all the equipment for it in order to get it going. It's and I think now is a good time for somebody to jump on that, right? So a couple years ago, I decided that, hey, I think Jamaica's buildings are under maintained, right? They're under maintained. Residential buildings are under maintained. I decided that, hey, I'm going to come up with a system where I wash these buildings to remove dirt, mold, and mildew, right? So I did some research, right, and I realized that if I mix a certain chemicals together, spray it on a building, it comes right back to looking brand new, right? The paint that is there, if it is that the paint is old, it can strip off and stuff like that, by using these tools, the tools that I have, and basically washing the building, right? So I've mixed the chemicals together at a certain ratio, right, and recorded that information. And it's not hard to teach somebody how to mix these chemicals, right, and play and apply it to the building. Application is easy. I even went ahead and bought there's equipment to be able to do it safely, right? And I have actually marketed it at the time, uh, and I've actually gotten calls, potential customers. A few customers actually called and arranged, but because I'm working on AJAWI construction, which is my business, right? Go check that out, guys. AJAWI construction, and it needed my attention at the time. I decided to just park that business for now, and focus on building AJAWI construction. And AJAWI construction is doing great now, right? It's doing great. Very prosperous. It's growing sustainably. So you can check that out if you want. And I decided that I'm gonna share this business idea, right? With this business idea, I'm hoping to be a silent partner in that business, right? I don't necessarily want to take on that business right now, because agile construction needs my attention. There are things that I want to do in it, and there are opportunities that I think that I want to focus on, right? And I just don't want to go all out. If it is that I go in our business, I go all out, right? Even this business that I'm speaking about now, if it is that somebody comes into it, as in decide that they want to take up that opportunity, I will provide the necessary support that they need, because I believe in investing, right? And if I can set up that person properly, I believe it will be better off in the long run. So if the person coming in, I will show them the necessary the necessary chemicals that they need to have. I will tell them where to get them, right? I will show them the different tools that I have, and get any additional tool that I need to get in order to set them up properly, right? But the business must be, it should be a partnership where I own a part of the business and I'm a silent partner, right? I don't want to be involved in the day-to-day operations of the business, so that's why I'm, rather go as a silent partner in that particular business. There are other things that I'm doing, other business that I'm working on. So I don't necessarily. This business will require somebody to go hands-on if it is that you're starting up, unless you already have resources. But the most important part about this business is the chemicals that you need to have, or the mixture of chemicals that you need, right, to apply to the building, and then the other tools that you will need to actually do the wash, right? Do the wash. So if you are interested in your own business, being your own boss, right, I am willing to invest. And I've just told you the business idea. Maybe you want to run with it, but again, you won't have the chemical mixture that you need and where to get them in Jamaica. So, right. So if it is that you're interested in that, link me up. Send me a DM. Right? I have multiple ideas. I have multiple business ideas Um, and I think that's one of the reasons my friends always ask me certain questions, like what I think about certain businesses, because ever since I know myself from a child coming up, I've always been in business. I've always had a little business running. And when I say a little business, I've always been buying and selling stuff. Right? So, for example, when I was younger, right? When I was younger, I came up with the idea that I wanted to start a shop at my aunt's place because I was living with my aunt at the time, right? And I decided that I'm going to buy and sell bleach. Like, I saved up money, went downtown to call it retailer, purchased bleach from them, go back to my community, ask everybody in the community if they needed bleach. I asked everybody if they needed bleach before I actually started doing that. So I walked around in the community, went to everybody's house and said, hey, would you buy bleach and fabric softener from me? And that's another business idea for you guys, right? Would you buy fabric softener and bleach and fabuloso from me if I can get it and sell it at a reasonable rate? And they were like, yeah. And I took the number, right? I took the information, write it down, and as soon as I got the products, I went to those people and say, hey, see, I have the product. It's only $100. Um, you know, I'm here. And they're like, oh, okay. And they supported me, right? Because I've always been the person that did not like asking people for stuff, right? I've always been the type of person that want to do my own thing, right? And one of the reasons is because every time I asked my aunt for stuff, she always complained, which I never liked, right? I never liked. So she always complained and say, hey, you know, your father is not involved in your life and your mother is not involved in your life at the moment, and you know, and that kind of did rub me wrong a little because, you know, yeah, my mom didn't have it and my father wasn't around, but you know, he didn't have to tell me that every time I ask you for something. So I never liked the idea, so I became self, you know, reliant. So fast forward, I saved up my money, bought one 5-gallon bottle of bleach for almost 400. Was it $400? I think it was like $300 at the time. Bought a 3-gallon bottle of bleach for $300. Sold it for $100 per gallon, so I had $200 profit at the time, right? I don't know if I'm remembering correctly the dollar value for it, but I know that I made profit because I ensured that I made my profit, however small that is, on each bottle of bleach I sold. And I just kept rinse and repeating the process. So as soon as it's finished, and I took the bus to go get it. I drove on bus, right? I had a 5-gallon bottle of bleach on the bus, driving from downtown to Washington Gardens. I walked from the top of the avenue down to the bottom of the avenue where I live with the bottles of bleach, right? So because it was so heavy, I had to lift one bottle of bleach, walk a little distance with it, put that one down, and then go back and pick up the next one and walk down to where the other one is, and then pass that one a little, and just continued like that until I reached my house, right? And like when I started selling, you know, because I bought bottles, I had to buy the bottles to sell the bleach in. So I bought that bottle out the bleach, right, and started selling in my community. Fast forward is like I started to see profits, so I started to buy other products. So I started to buy fabric softener, fabuloso, What other one? Toilet bowl cleaner, and a few other stuff. Right, as I started to get profits. Right, I know that this is a business idea, and so I'm just telling you the background to it, right, and why I have always been in business. So this is when I'm in high school. So I'm in high school, right, and like I I started to sell and I saw and I see the profits that I'm making from it. And whenever I'm at school, my aunt would sell it for me if I'm not there, or people that are in the house would sell it for me if I'm not there. And basically, I just grew it, right, until I had a little room around the back that I put everything in. And if people come and don't have the money and I trust, I write down the name and give it to them, and then if they come back the next time, they have to pay off what they owe already in order for me to credit them again. So it's like I had a full system in place running as a youngster going to high school, right? And my parents allowed me to do that. So I've always had these business ideas. Eventually, I turned it over to my brother because I left my aunt's place, but I turned it over to my brother, and he started to run it for a while, and then after a while it went down because I'm not there. Because I'm not there to operate it, it didn't go further than that. And you know how that goes. If you're in a business and you vacate it and the person is not interested in it as much as you are, then it will go down. But yeah, I turned that over to him, and he operated it for a while and paid for stuff that he needed while I went off to do my own thing. But yeah, that was a business idea that I came up with as a youngster, right? As a youngster, and I only started with my lunch money. I started that business with my lunch money going to school. So I saved, like, if I got $100 for lunch, I would spend, say, $50 and save the $50. Save $50. If it meant that I'm gonna not eat as much as I should for that week or for that day, I just did that because I know that I wanted to start that business, and that helped. Like, that helped me to start. Right? And when I look back at it, I'm like, yo, I've always been like that throughout my life, because that's not the only business that I started there. I had started like a beverage, buying and selling soft drinks back then. Right, buying and selling soft drinks in the house. Like, I think I've told that story before, but if you want to hear that story, let me know. Right, let me know. But yeah, that's pretty much a little nutshell of my life as a young entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur from a youngster in high school. I mean, when I was in high school and I wanted anything, I bought it for myself. Right? I bought it for myself. So it's an interesting life. So that's why I'm always saying put God first in anything. Even though I grew up a particular way, everything worked according to God's plan.